Kelleher and Minister, people are living or even dying on waiting lists in Ireland, and this rightly is of concern to all of us. The nation was shocked by the harrowing stories, connecting us in a powerful way with the people behind the numbers, as revealed on RTE's Primetime Investigates on Monday, the 6th of February, scarcely a week ago. They say that a week is a long time in politics, and I guess with all that is going on at the moment, we are living with this truth. So I want to thank those who have brought us this motion to ensure that the life and death matters of people on waiting lists continues to capture our sympathy and, more importantly, our attention and resolve to address it. The most recent indication is that there are 632,000 people on waiting lists in Ireland, children, men and women. That is, if any of these numbers are accurate and to be believed, and which this important motion directly addresses. It is on the facts relating to women waiting on the list for life and death treatments, for gynaecology assessments and procedures in CUMH that I wish to focus on. Patricia Connolly waived her privacy and anonymity to appear on Primetime to share her story. She is a 37-year-old woman whose life has been blighted. She is in pain, on painkillers, waiting and waiting and waiting on the list. January's NTPF figures for CUMH gynaecology waiting lists indicate that there are 4,350 women waiting for outpatient assessments. 100 patients were outsourced to the Mater Private, so the figure is 4,350 after these 100 women patients were removed. 4,350 women waiting for outpatients. The inpatient waiting list for Cork is 459 women, 412 in CUMH and 47 in the South Infirmary. They have removed 50 patients for outsourcing and 459 is the number after they were removed from the list. So the NTPF obviously helps a small number of people, but it is not the long-term solution. We need long-term capacity so that we don't have these lists building up and up and up of people in desperation and in despair. In yesterday's Irish Times, a respected GP in Cork said that very probably women die due to the wait for a gynaecological check in CUMH. Dr. Mary Favier said, "Of course, the difficulty is that you can't for certain say that somebody has gynae cancer. There are some symptoms that are suggestive of it, so that if somebody bleeds after the menopause, they get seen quite quickly, because there is a high risk of gynae cancer. But it's the in-between ones who may have gynae cancer, but are not showing any signs and need investigation. They are the ones at risk." So I would say, yes, definitely, without a doubt, there are people dying on the gynae waiting list because of the delay. I organised a briefing for members of the Oireachtas on the 9th of January with the doctors at CUMH, long before the Primetime programme went out. At that meeting, a TD asked why there wasn't an outcry about the level and extent of women on the waiting list for gynaecology treatments in Cork, given the scale of the problem. And one answer came. That was that it's because it's women on the list. Women often keep quiet and don't talk about such conditions as the menopause, period pain, heavy bleeding or prolapse. It's not a subject for mixed company. Women often keep their concerns to themselves so as not to upset or worry their children or families or jeopardise their jobs. I knew this myself. I had problems with bleeding and I was barely able to go to work. So I know this directly from direct experience. They battle on knowing that something is very wrong or even fatal with their gynecological health. The doctors have not been silent. They've been raising awareness of the growing and alarming gynaecology waiting lists internally for years. Their worries and concerns have consistently been minimised and ignored. This has resulted with CUMH having the highest and longest waiting lists for gynaecology in this country. The doctors eventually felt they had to go public and go political. It's not a doctor's job to be going and talking to the media or talking to politicians, yet this is what the doctors felt that they had to do to get some attention on this issue. They outlined a 4-point practical plan. 1, to employ additional gynaecology theatre staff to increase the theatre capacity from 30% to 100%. We were shown around an empty theatre. built with the purpose of dealing with gynaecology procedures lying empty. They also suggested to develop and staff a gynaecology day unit, which Senator Burke has raised, build and staff the gynaecology one-stop shop, which was part of a gynaecology plan published by the HSE in 2014, and employ a minimum of 4 additional consultant gynaecologists. And each of these things has to happen together. The National Treatment Purchase Fund or cherry-picking from one of these things on the list will not solve the problem. The doctors eventually got some attention and put their 4-point plan directly to Minister Harris on the 12th of January. Minister Harris agreed to meet with the doctors and management again in 6 weeks, and in fact he asked me to contact the office to fix that meeting. What I want to know is, has the Minister been active in engagement with HSE local management and doctors since the 12th of January? What progress can the Minister report to the women of Cork and the region, and indeed the members of the Oireachtas, who are quite rightly concerned about these out of line, out of kilter outliers of waiting lists for gynaecology in Cork? Has the date been set? I know the date hasn't, but I've been asked to contact the Minister's office to set that date, and that's encouraging. Can the Minister commit to and guarantee that he will see to it and fix the dysfunctionality, communication and teamwork breakdowns between doctors and management in CUMH and put in the resources needed? I know that if the management locally were asked the question, are they effectively harnessing the efforts of the workforce, which is their own performance indicator, I don't know how they could answer that in all honesty, given the size and the scale of this problem locally. So I asked the Minister, can he eliminate the gynaecology waiting lists at CUMH, the longest in Ireland? The only acceptable answer to that, to the women of Cork, is yes, he can, yes, he will, and follow through with actions and resources. That's why I welcome and support this motion, and in fact I also welcome and support the Fianna Fáil motion, but I think they should be added together rather than substituted, because I think there is merit in both motions. So that the people on waiting lists around the country, and in particular the women of Cork, get the attention they finally need. It is a shocking shame that it has taken all of this effort and energy to shine a light on this problem. Thank you.
Senator Nash, you have 8 minutes.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I just want to commend Senator Kelleher for sharing her own personal testimony with us. It's very brave and courageous of somebody to share their own personal health stories with the House. It's very difficult to do that, but I want to congratulate you on that, and you have been a very strong advocate since you came to this House for services at CUMH, the maternity, gynaecology and obstetric services. I want to